Christmassy.
Yay, Christmassy. I'm supposed to be wearing antlers right now, but I don't know where they went.
And they got stolen.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, they have bells on them. It probably would annoy people.
Probably so. But this is the Friday Q&A, Friday fun before Christmas, and so.
And I get to wear my pajamas.
It's true. It's Friday.
Yeah.
Ooh, my hands are cold.
It's not that cold upstairs.
I know. I'm pretty chilly.
Well, it's cold down here.
Oh, sorry. What?
Ew!
I'm not only cold, but I mean, I did all this crazy stuff to build that watch, and it's like I have to kind of like unfuzz my brain.
That's what happens when the video's done at the end of the day rather than the middle of the day.
Right, because normally we do it in the middle of the day, and it's easy. But Sebastian is just
He's a boy.
He's a fire hose with legs.
Yes.
and a demonic laugh.
Yes. I'm a beaten woman.
Oh, and this is the start of the kids being home for 2 weeks.
Yep. Yep. But that means we'll be able to make the videos in the middle of the day.
Yeah, we hope. Should be able to.
Yep.
So yeah, anyway, it's like we have to step on it because it's like I'm right up against pizza time.
Yep. But I made the dough. The oven's on. But it takes forever for the oven to heat up because our oven's old. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think we'll be good.
I hope so.
Okay, so then let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Well, it's time for Friday wrist check. Oh, gosh. Who goes first?
Me.
Okay.
I am not wearing anything unusual or surprising. There we go.
There it goes.
Okay, I don't think I need to hang out here for long.
Nope, I think everybody's got it. I'm wearing actually one of the longest watches I've ever owned. I built this mod like 10 years ago. This is what I called my Seiko Fiver because it's a rally diver, but I swapped out the innards from another watch. I built this a long time ago. And I don't wear it very often.
Isn't it the first watch that you built or something?
It's the first mod that I ever built, and I didn't know that this could not be done, which is that a 6000 series Sua movement can be put into a 5126 Dynie case.
Oh.
And so it's actually this is a Dynie sport diver, all of this outside stuff, but everything inside had been completely flooded and destroyed. But then I had this watch, which was a dress watch in this sort of funky case, and I was like, because I didn't know anything at the time. I'm like, well, let's see if that'll drop in there. Mm-hmm. And it had the right crown, and the stem worked, and everything else like that, and so I built this, and I had to make a compound stem, and I can't use the 5126 case back because the movement is a lot taller than the 5126. And this is one of the Jonathan's recreation fish bones, and I put that on there. And I built this watch exactly like this. And so it was right around Christmas 10 years ago that I did this. One of the reasons I'm wearing that. Anyway, okay.
Okay, from Julie Hill. Living with small children is like living with a wino drunken bum. You should hear them screaming at some point, like right now. And the dog's barking because there's workermen outside our house.
Yeah, they're putting in the city high-speed fiber.
Yes.
50 gigabytes a second. Be able to download a whole movie in 2 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's why I hear the dog barking. They haven't dug up our yard yet. From CMB. Hi, I have a 6119 6020 notch case with the big crown. Sadly, the stem snapped off in the crown and I cannot remove it. I have tried the alum, I don't know how it's pronounced. Method of rusting out the stem, but it did not work. I do not have the equipment to drill it out. Jeweler's lathe.
Yeah, that particular crown, I should have done my homework. I do have a couple of those crowns. But they are quite rare. I only have a couple of them. They're new old stock. They're Japanese. Well, obviously they're Japanese, but they're like in a Japanese repair kit that I have that I found badly listed on eBay with a ton of original Seiko crowns in it. It's like they're like 50. It's like 55 NO 50. I have a couple, but Yeah, there's no way to save your crown. If there's a way to do it, man, I would save so many 6105 crowns. But yeah, the alum method, where you make a saline's hyper salty solution and rust out the stem, does not work with Seiko. The stem just sits there and doesn't work. I've used it successfully in other things. It works for weirdly enough, it works for Arnie crowns and Arnie stems. It does work because it's like they have this weird compound, regular Arnie inside stem and then an outer like split stem, and if that breaks off that inner stem part, you can rust that out, but most of them you can't. I'll make a note of it and do some digging and find those crowns again. What?
You made your hair all silly. Look in the thing. Look at your hair.
What about it? Oh, I did? Did I do that? In my best Urkel voice?
Okay. Oh, and you just heard my phone. Uh-oh, he's leaving.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, I'll start reading the question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I think I can hear you.
Okay, from Waffles Bro 5412. I just bought a Berthier month Seiko 7002-7001 from the Philippines. The dial has been replaced, but I'm fine with it. Slim pickings when it comes to finding matching Berthier pieces. I plan on restoring it to new condition with OE dial and getting it clean, lubed, regulated, and wearing it till I die.
Ha! Well, that's as good a plan as any. They are, you can still find those 7002 dials. In fact, I have a few. But finding a Berthier and month watch, that is tough. It's funny. Every now and then people write me and they're like, "Hey man, do you have a watch from June 1983 or something?" And there was one guy, he wrote me and I'm like, "I cannot believe it. I do. I have one." And it was actually in the basic watch family, and he was like, "Nah, I don't know." I'm like, he says, "I'll look for one that's in better condition." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine, but man, finding a Berthier and month watch, that's gnarly. Hard to do."
I don't have one. I have an almost one.
I've never found one for you. We have that really late 6309 7049 that is from February, not March.
From Chrono Craze. If you like the Bundeswehr design, did I pronounce it right?
More or less, who cares?
Okay, and I do too. I'd look into the HKED's Bundeswehr homage. Wait, did I pronounce it right?
I guess so.
We had this discussion. I forgot what the answer is.
Homage.
Whatever. Watch. It looks really close to the inspired Hoyer design in dimensions 43 millimeters, and looks, especially if you go with the classic black. HKED offers Panda and reverse Panda options, which are pretty nice, as well as choice of black or stainless steel bidirectional timing bezel. Not bad for $450.
No, it's not bad for $450. It uses the Chinese Seagull movement, which is apparently a pretty high quality recreation of the Venus 175, Venus 170, something like that. So yeah, it's pretty cheap. It's like that. I showed you that. It's like a dual register chronograph that was used by German air pilots, but it's this company. All they have is the mock-ups. The watches are not themselves going to ship until 2020. I don't know that I like the logo, but the Bundeswehr one, all it has is a little H3 on the bottom rather than the company logo, and so it looks okay. I want to see actual photographs of it before I drop $450. Though I was considering, I was like, well, I could get one of those, and then I have a few Venus 170 movements, and I could actually put a Venus into it, or I could just leave it with the Chinese Seagull movement. Who cares? I read articles about it, and apparently the engineering is fine, and they're well jeweled. But what do I know?
You know lots about watches.
There's so much I don't know.
You know more than lots of people.
So much more to learn.
From Quartz Crisis. Question. You've just serviced Grand Seiko 4522-8000. Does this movement have common issues with a date? My date often advances 2 days, example 1st to the 3rd. I've heard other reports of this. Do you think my 4522 movement just needs a service, or I have worn out part that needs replacement?
My default setting is always to just go for a servicing. Those have I just the one that I did was a no date. The dates models on those, I believe, are the instant date ones. I could be wrong, but if they are the instant date ones, they have this crazy setup with like these reciprocating springs that go back and forth to like go to like instant change the date, and if there are a lot of things that can go wrong with that setup, but I should have probably done more research on that movement. But I mean, you start and finish always with a movement service. And
well, wouldn't you find out if something needs to be replaced? Right.
Yeah, that's the way you dig into it and you're like, okay, well, here we are. But, Seiko's crazy mania for running things via springs rather than bolting them together means you can run into weird problems. I don't know why Seiko loves springs so much, especially in that era. They just, if they could make a watch completely out of springs, they'd do it.
Okay, I don't know what this guy's talking about.
Neither do I.
Joseph Pyburn, would this bracelet fit in SKX009?
Oh, he's asking about Uncle Seiko's Z199 bracelets. Yes, absolutely it will. It'll drop right in.
From Peter Parker. Hi!
Hi, Peter Parker. You got something for me?
Hi, Spencer and Sabrina. I recently acquired a circa 2003 Seiko Brights automatic with time-only caliber 8721. I understand it is derived from the GS9S. Jesus, gosh darned it. My tongue is not working.
Sorry.
Okay. I understand it is derived from the GS9S51 movement, sibling to the more common 8L35, and was assembled at Morioka. Service history is unknown. Currently running, but I have not been able to verify accuracy or health of the movement. Who can I trust to service this uncommon movement?
Unfortunately, it's going to be Seiko in Japan. Something like that. Something.
Not in New Jersey.
Well, they're shutting down apparently. I mean, so that dream is over anyway. But it's amazing. I still get communications from people saying, "Hey, I sent my watch to." It's usually original owners, people who've owned their stuff for decades, and they think that they still live in the normal world that hasn't been destroyed. Well, not destroyed, but they think things are still the way they were. Doom and gloom. They still think things are the way they were back in the day, which is when you could maintain things and fix things, and companies don't really do that anymore, especially Seiko. Don't send it to New Jersey, but Seiko Japan, unfortunately, you'd have to ship it out there and they'd have to look at it and go from there. Cool watch though. That's a neat piece. Jesus.
From Lynn Little, nice 6105 8110. I have a 6105 8119, born in 1973, and I dearly love. I also have a 6306 7001 restored by the same person as my 6105. I love that one almost as much. By the way, black monster bracelets can be ground to fit 19mm lugs and look pretty good on 6105s.
That was the reason I put this question in. Black monster bracelets, really? I didn't know that. Do they leave a gap between the case? I don't think I even have a black monster bracelet here. I might. I'd have to look, but that's interesting because bracelets on those things has always been a challenge. But Uncle Seiko's stuff is quite good. He's got a whole section for 6105, and it works out really nicely. The stuff that he has is great. So if the monster doesn't work for you, then go visit UncleSeiko.com.
From Alexi Barkovsky. Sorry. Strange idea to bake your watch. I said the same thing.
Oh well, the owner, I feel badly for him. He's the original owner. That's the 7548 with the melted circuit. It was a gift from his birthday or Christmas gift from his wife in 1987. A watch had a ton of sentimental value to him, and there was some miscommunication about how to dry out a watch that got some moisture inside, and it's unfortunate, but we did fix it, and It's just one of those things. There's a lot of bad information about what to do when you get a little bit of moisture in your watch.
You told me to put it in the fridge.
But that's because refrigerators are extremely effective dehumidifiers. And so you take your watch and if possible, you pull the crown out to the time setting position and you put it on a plate or a bowl.
I didn't do that.
Whatever, you put it in the fridge. You just want it to be protected. You don't want to have it end up in the potato salad, and you have it like covered or something else like this. So then you leave it for 2-3 odd days, and eventually it'll dry out.
Yeah, one time I told this story, but people probably don't remember it or don't know it or whatever. But one time I went to Florida. He didn't come, and I was wearing my digital something or other. What watch was it?
You were wearing You were just wearing one of your. It's just a. I don't. It's an M154.
I don't know, but anyway, I was like, "Ooh, pool," and I went in the pool, and I had my.
Oh no! It was your M914. You still have it. It's upstairs.
I know. But I went in the pool with it, and I was like, "Ah!" And I went running out, and then I texted him frantically, "I went in the water with my watch," because I think of him always saying, "No, don't go into the water with your watch." And he told me to put it in the fridge, and it did, not on a plate. I just threw it in there, and it came out fine.
Mm-hmm. It still runs. It's upstairs right now.
And that's my story. From TGY 1986. Wow, the relooming of the hands is just insane how great it comes out. A suggestion, if you feel like it, a side-by-side comparison of before and after Reckon.
I reckon. Ah, gotcha.
I can't read today.
You can?
I can't read today. Would just make people really appreciate what you do. I do understand that these videos are more for the watch owner, but I'm sure the other would appreciate it and let you gain more attraction to the channel and yourself. I agree.
I actually meant to do that. There's a picture at the end that shows the finished thing, and I had actually meant to have the watch before and then that fade to the watch after. But, also the strange thing was that seemed like kind of a, I don't know, puffing myself up thing.
No, I love that.
Well, it's...
I love before and afters.
Any case, well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of how that my Vintalume and how that works come out. And in that watch, again, he had a lot of sentimental value for that watch, and I was very happy to be able to save it for him. And, he's going to get it here, I think, tomorrow. And I hope to hear from him to see, what his first impressions are.
From John Cash. Is it safe to wind the 7S26 using the screw with the rotor removed? This is to settle a discussion about force winding SKX.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be? There's no difference weight off or weight on. You're force winding it. Who cares? There's no... I can't... The only thing that would happen is if you were force winding without the weight is you could... the paw lever might spin quickly, but it's jeweled, so who cares? There's no issues that I'm aware of. So, no. It's never even occurred to me to think about it.
From Dan Laser. Where's the long one? Okay.
Is it?
Well, for my abilities to speak today. Excellent as always, Spencer. I have the same watch. It was a high school... What watch?
This is the 7548 7009 quartz diver, 150 meter quartz diver. The one I was just talking about restoring the oven watch.
Okay, that's all you had to say. It was a high school gift from my folks in 1987. Great year.
86 was better.
87, otherwise you wouldn't have a life. I wore it for years, and then something else must have come along because it was put in a box and forgotten. A couple of years ago, I pulled it out and the battery had long since died. Fortunately, no battery leakage or damage. I dropped in a new battery and it didn't run. I left the new battery in overnight, and when I checked it the next morning, it had come to life. A little wobbly, but it was alive. It has been running consistently for a long time now and has found its rhythm again and keeping very good time. It's in very good condition for its age. I'm sure the gaskets are shot and it could use a good cleaning though. These are getting more and more rare as time goes by. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, they're hard to find actually. A really good 7548. I mean, there's a fair amount of them on eBay, but like the really good ones, those seem to have really dried up. It used to be that you could find them like the, like the Storm and Norman ones, which is the 7548 7000 Fs. It's the Pepsi ones.
Why is it called that again?
General Norman Schwarzkopf wore one in the first Gulf War. And so for a long time, people were like, "Oh, he was wearing an SKX 009," even though, but it wasn't. It was clearly it's a Seiko quartz. It was auctioned off after his passing, and it just confirmed that it was one of those. They're great watches. They're great watches. Whenever I talk about those movements, it's one of the things I always like to talk about them is that Seiko started with that was a top-down movement in terms of quality. They designed that movement as a variation on the 6309 in the 6000 series. A lot of the things they go together, but they wanted to create their first serious 600-meter professional diver in the quartz era, and so they swung for the fences, and they did some amazing stuff, and they went for the best possible, strongest movement they could, specifically for the top of the line 7549s. And of course, they have the line up and running, everything's going, and they propagated that movement all the way down through the 7548 150-meter divers, the 7546s, which were sport divers, mid-sized sport divers, some very pretty ones, a lot of dress watches, 7546 and 7545, which was date only. So I mean, you can go on eBay now, and if you're looking for a 70s or an 80s dress watch, and you know what you're looking for, you can go and you can find a 7545 or a 7546, and you can get them for price of lunch, and they have the same movement essentially as the Seiko's top of the line 600-meter diver at the time, because they made it for the top and they just ran that movement all the way down. They're fantastically built. They're trucks. What is he doing?
I think that's the dog.
Really?
Chasing something. From RG, couple of new questions. 1. I've got 2 original 62 MASs, one from 1966 with the dolphin caseback and another from 1967 with a regular non-graphical caseback. Is the 1966 one more rare or collectible? I am trying to decide which one to keep. The 1967 one has less wear.
If it were me, actually, you almost owe it. You see, I've never owned one of the horseshoe caseback ones. I never have, and actually, I kind of think they're cool. The dolphin ones I think they're more common. You say it's a 66. I would look at them. Honestly, I would choose the one that was in better cosmetic condition, because that's always my thing. Because they're just cosmetics, you can't replace it. Look at the dial condition and the hand condition and the case condition too. But my personal inclination is to go for the horseshoe caseback with the text. I don't see them very often at all. That's the Dynie made caseback, I believe, and those are just, they're cool. They're cool. But I would go for whichever one is the better original cosmetic condition, because it's going to hold its value better for longer.
2, are you planning on selling 62 MAS crystal reproductions? I found it hard to source a crystal with only one offering from China on eBay. I've never been asked for one.
I've never been asked for one. I mean, we can get them. GS makes them. They make a recreation of them. The issue with the GS crystals is that they are a little funky, and you have.
Oh, is this the one that you always freak out about?
Well, do I freak out? When do I freak out? GS Crystal. What are you laughing at? Why is she laughing at me? I'm perfectly calm. I'm an absolutely calm person. Just smooth sailing. GS crystals, they're not plug and play. You have to get them, and sometimes you have to kind of horse them in a little bit. They don't come with tension rings. You have to put in the original tension ring from your original crystal. But a lot of times the fit is too tight because the GS crystal is thicker around the base. So you actually have to do this crazy thing where you take down outer diameter of the original tension ring. I do it with a Dremel. I have kind of a tool, and I sit there, and the thing spins, and it gets smaller. And you just have to fit it, because if you just put it together, you'll never get it in, and the crystal will just shatter. So GS makes them, and once you actually get it shoehorned into the movement or in the case, it's fine. There has to be a source for other ones, but that's the only one I can really come to. I can start getting them, but we never did, because again, they're not plug and play. You have to fiddle with them to make them work.
And like I said, I've never been asked for one.
I mean, if we had them and they were decent, then I'm sure that people would buy them.
Yeah, but if they have so many problems.
Everything with GS it's GS. I love GS. GS has a lot of really high-end stuff, but they have a ton of different variants. Like, I just asked about one particular crystal. I think it's a 310T14 ANS, because it's for one of these things, these 6117 8000s. And I was talking to them about it, and they have 3 different variants of that thing, because they have the first one that they made in the 60s, then they have a revision they came up with in the early 70s, then they have a third revision they came up with in the 80s, and I was like...
You want the third revision?
I asked her, and I was talking to her about it, and she said, well, the second revision seems to be the most popular. Here's the blueprint of what the differences are, and I'm like, there's it's either right or it's wrong. I don't know why they would have and still continue to manufacture 3 variants of the same crystal. I've sent her samples of genuine new old stock crystals before, and said we just need to match this, and that never really went anywhere.
Okay.
I don't know, but I tell you what, I'll order one.
Our crystals are good.
Our crystals are good, but our crystals are made to a fraction of a millimeter in Switzerland.
Yeah. You're just trash talking GS a lot.
I'm not trash talking. It's just that's a particularly sore subject of mine, because they're not plug and play. They will work, but they have to be hand fitted. And it's more work than what people are used to having to do with crystals. It's more watchsmithy than just popping in a crystal.
From Hans Mayer. Hello, great video. What are your thoughts about Seiko 7C46 movement that is in the SBBN tuna line?
They're good. I mean, they came out with the 7C movement in 1986. They still make them today. And so, I mean, that's a 30-year run. They're good. They're significantly streamlined in terms of their production and quality compared to the movement they replaced, which was the 754Xs. The 754Xs are bulletproof, and they're made all metal, and 7C4, and they have a variable trimmer. Like, I can dial those things into a fraction of a hundredth of a second accuracy per day. 7C46 is much more simplified. It only has 2 adjustments for time, and so you have to cut a connection, and it's a permanent change. But perhaps they're more accurate, and they don't need that much, adjustment. They have an all metal train. They're still jeweled, but like the main plate and stuff is plastic. Where I've found problems is I've had consistent problems with the date driving wheel. It's sort of weakly built, and if things don't go exactly right, that the date finger can catch on the wheel, and then it gets folded over backwards, and they're great until they fail, and then you've got problems, because finding parts for them is impossible. And Seiko New Jersey, of course, no longer stocks anything for it, and you can't even get replacement 7C movements. I found a few from some guy in the Netherlands, and I have one 7C new old stock movement here. It's just sitting here. But they're hard to get a hold of, and I'm not even sure that Seiko might service them if you send them to Japan, but I'm not sure. But overall, they have a track record of 30 plus years, so they're still making them. People are still buying them today.
Okay, now for an MGB thing. From what? From John Cash. If you put a V8 in an MGB, make sure you uprate the brakes and suspension before you drive it. They did make a V8 as stock, but I would go aftermarket.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to a V8 engine. I mean, I'm no speed demon whatsoever. I just want the car to be able to run and stop. I'm a pretty sedate driver. I'm not going to be doing any rally races. Although I did get pinged for the local MG club. It's like, hey, we saw your post on the MG forum, and why don't you come and we do coffee every Saturday morning. Bring your son, your little helper. Oh, and that should be fun. So I might do that one of these days. But I did tell him, I'm like, the MG is not going to be rolling anytime soon. Lord. Anyway, that's it. It's pizza time.
Yeah, it's time to make pizza.
Yeah, it is time to make pizza.
I do want to say one thing. I just want to... Can I say something?
Is it about Baby Yoda?
I love Baby Yoda, but no, it's not. We are just people. That's just what I want to say. We're nothing special or amazing that we need to get, like, threatening letters or stuff sent to us. I doubt you wanted to talk about this, but I didn't ever get a chance to. We're literally just people. And don't be mean, because it's not nice. Obviously.
Yeah, I don't know. And people get crazy ideas. I don't understand.
We're nothing special. We're literally just people. And it's kind of upsetting to get creepy things. And it really kind of bothers me. So just please try to remember that we are nothing special. We're not celebrities. We're just trying to answer questions and have some fun.
And keep our business going.
And keep our business going. Please don't be a creep. That's really weird.
It is really weird, but there are a lot of unbalanced people in the world, and it's the only time it's ever happened in all the years we've been doing this.
But it's upsetting.
Oh, I know it's upsetting, but what are you gonna do? And the guy cooked his own goose. It's out of my hands now anyway. So, it is what it is. But the vast majority of people are very nice. I mean, yes. look what Sadie said last night.
I know Sadie was super excited to see all the positive comments from people. Most of you guys are totally normal, and I. Down for that.
Yeah, and she was just it was so heartwarming. She was so impressed, and she sort of looked at me with sort of new eyes. Oh, all these people, they love you. I'm like, oh well, that's nice. I mean, they think I'm probably nicer than I really am, but what?
Nice.
For a given value of nice. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, that situation, it's stupid. I considered not. I wasn't going to mention anything, not for any other reason than who cares. But
well, I just wanted to say something. It's easy to think, being on TV makes you think that you're something more than just a person. We're literally just people, and we're really boring. And I swear to hand to God, I think every week, gosh, wouldn't it be nice just to not have to. I feel like we're putting ourselves forward for no reason, like pretending like we're more than we are, and it's like, why do we do this to people? I don't know.
It's silly. And every week I'm like, maybe we just shouldn't make them anymore. I mean, who are we to make these videos and put ourselves forward like that? I don't know.
Oh, well.
I don't know. It's just, the heck is going on?
Somebody's the meanest something in the world. Willow's angry, so a tornado's about to happen.
Oh, I'm waiting for the screaming.
Yeah.
Screak, screak, screak. Anyway, about the letter thing. I mean, it is what it is. But I thank all of you for your very kind comments. Winston Churchill said that it was his opinion that you could judge a man by the quality of his enemies. And my enemies all suck, so I guess I do too.
You don't suck.
Nah, I don't know. Anyway, so by the way, I'm working on something I might do a video about this weekend. I pulled this. I like having a watch to work on the side, so when I'm trying to figure a problem for a customer, I can work on something else that doesn't affect them, and then my brain can kind of go into neutral. So this came out of my junk drawer, and I finished building it. The original dial was kind of jacked up, so for fun, I swapped in one model later dial, and she hates it.
Sorry.
But I don't know. I'm thinking about it. So this is a 6117 8000, fully serviced, fully built, but it's got a 6117 6410 dial, I believe. But everything else is original. And I don't know. What do you think about it? Is that good looking or is that not good looking? Because it's got that orange ring. Normally it would just be the all black, and I have that dial, but it's just kind of banged up. Anyway, so I'm thinking about that.
It's okay.
It's a GMT.
Whatever.
The nice thing about actually having the orange thing on here is that means you've got two different 24-hour scales, which in theory could mean that you could calculate to I think 3 different time zones or something. I don't want to know. Once anybody ask me anything. I don't know. It's time to make pizza. All right. Thank you very much for your support and all the other stuff that's going on. And
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And Happy Hanukkah.
And Happy Hanukkah. Absolutely. Why am I wishing you a Happy Hanukkah?
No, the world.
Oh, yes.
Not me.
Absolutely. You know, and whatever. Have fun. Make cookies.
Yes.
Oh, the pro tip, apparently, is to make your Baby Yoda cookies is you get your angel cookie cutter, and then what you do is you take their head off, and that way the wings become Baby Yoda's ears.
Yep.
And that's the way to do it. Okay, thanks folks. Talk to you later. Bye bye.